Good morning and happy Monday. I'm going to get off the Wi-Fi. So how is everybody? Did you have a good weekend? Clearly I got some sun this weekend. So Saturday we started talking about seasons, that our life was in seasons, that the world goes in seasons, obviously, throughout a single year. We go through all 4 seasons. But that we also have our economy goes in seasons. And it's a good idea to think about it like that so that you kind of know what comes next. And we said on Saturday that right now, we're really in winter. When you've got as much unemployment, when you get shut down by a virus, that's really, you got a worldwide pandemic. We're really in a winter. And so what do you do in a winter? What do you do if your business is shut down? What do you do if you're laid off? What if you do if your business is, barely moving? What do you do? Well, that's in winter is when you prepare, you work on yourself and you prepare. Winter is where you set goals. Winter is where you set budgets. Winter is where you figure out, the farmer figures out how many acres of corn am I gonna plant? How many acres of soybeans am I gonna plant? And why? Why am I going to do that? What do I think the markets are going to be? They line up financing. They go acquire the seed. They go acquire the fertilizer that they need. Then they work on their farm equipment. So for us in winter is when we work on ourselves. What are our goals? What are our plans? Can we read books? If you've got extra time, that's when you read books. That's when you watch videos and seminars. Tony Robbins did a virtual UPW this past weekend, and it was very successful. So I'm sure there's going to be more of those. So you can do that while you stay at home. There's a million YouTube videos. There's videos like this. So we work on ourselves. We work on our goals. We read. You get ready. Winter is when you prepare and get ready so that you can be prepared when the next season comes. And what comes after winter? Spring. So if you think that after winter you're going to all of a sudden make a big killing in something, typically that doesn't happen. Now, sometimes it can happen. If you've prepared in the past, so like a farmer can have a bunch of corn sitting in a silo and corn prices can skyrocket. And so in the spring they can sell and make a pile of money that way. But that's something that you've done in the past. That's something that you've previously done the hard work and done everything that need to be done, and then a prior plan comes to fruition, right? So you may have something already set up that a prior plan comes to fruition, but in terms of your current plans, you got to go do the work. So when spring comes, which is what comes next, what do we got to do? We got to go sow the seeds. So that's when you got to go do the new thing, whatever that is, whether it's start the new business, acquire the new business, start to work on your business with your new plan when it gets to open back up. If you have a restaurant or a bar or a movie theater or an airline, you're doing plans right now. And in the springtime, you're going to start executing on those plans. So the airlines have done that a little bit. Restaurants have got to do that a little bit in that they're trying to execute on a plan that can work while the virus is still around. But we all know eventually this virus is going to go away. The virus in 1918 went away, and this one's going to go away. Science is going to fix this situation eventually. So that's really what you're planning for now is, how do I survive and thrive in this new environment, and planning for when this current issue that we're dealing with goes away, and then start planting the seeds for that. So you get out there and you get your equipment going and you start planting seeds. Now the tough one, I think, is how do you know when winter's done and when spring arrives? Well, I think the real issue there is you do that by when you can start to execute on your plan. Because you're never going to time everything perfect, right? You're never going to time the market perfectly. You can try your best, but don't expect that that's going to happen. What you do is when the opportunity arises so that you can start to execute on your plan, then that's what you do, is you start to execute on your plan. Now in springtime, like I said, does anybody plan to reap their harvest in the spring? No. When you're doing a harvest, when do you work the most? When do farmers work the most? Springtime. Springtime is the hardest work, except when they're reaping, but reaping doesn't seem like work because you know that you're just pulling in money, right? I mean, it takes longer for them to bring in the crop, but that doesn't really seem like work when you're sitting there counting dollars. When all you're doing is sitting there and just pulling in cash, that doesn't seem like work. Spring is harder work. You get out there, you get into those fields, and you start sowing those seeds, and that's what's coming next. Once we start to get out of winter, it's going to be springtime. And springtime, if the people that are looking to just cash in aren't going to be the ones that really cash in down the road. If you think about the last crisis that we had, who cashed in on that crisis? It was the people that didn't panic. It was the people that stayed patient and had a plan, and then they executed on that plan. I mean, think about if you would have gone around and bought real estate in 2009, 10, 11 in Manhattan, Los Angeles, Miami, Las Vegas. Think about that. Now, if you'd have bought it in 2009 and it kept going down in 2010, you wouldn't have timed the market very well. But if you're thinking long term, then that didn't matter. I mean, think about if you started a business in 2009, 2010. If you were able to survive those first couple of years, how did you do the last 10 years? So you don't have to plan the market perfectly, but you need to know that when you start your new plan, you're not going to reap those seeds immediately. Spring follows winter, so you're going to have to work and work and work and work. So if you're going to start a new business, you need to anticipate you might not make a ton of money for the first couple of years. But down the road, when fall comes through the next cycle, then you're the one that's going to get the chance to significantly cash in. Right now, what's happening in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, all of these cities, everybody's leaving. What's happening to prices? Plummeting. Some areas of Manhattan, some areas of Los Angeles, the prices have gone down 40%. Are they done going down? Who knows? But certainly it's a much better situation if you're going to be buying as an investor than it was 6 months ago. Are we through all this? Who knows? We could get up and look at the news tomorrow morning and Johnson & Johnson could have figured out a vaccine for this and we might be out of it. That could happen, in which case the situation is going to change dramatically. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. But you do know that spring is what's coming. So when you get executing on your plan, don't panic if it doesn't work out perfectly right away. Keep working on the plan, whatever that is, because we are going to come out of this. And know that you're not going to reap for a while. So don't go at it with that approach. If you go at it with that intent, if you think I'm going to start this new plan and right away I'm going to make a ton of money, typically that's not how spring works. Spring is when you got to do all the work and you're going to make the money down the road. So as we enter into our next season, whenever that is, know what it is that you need to do. You need to execute on your plan. You need to work on it like crazy. And you need to be patient for when it pays off. Because springtime is the time to plant the seeds. It's not the time to reap the seeds. So it's Monday. It's time to go to work. It's time to get out there and get after it, as my beautiful brother Dan Mahoney says. So let's all get doing that. We're all in this together. Take care of each other. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.